Hey there, folks. Joel D in the place to be. And that right now is in Harrisburg at the state capitol. I'm actually in the Welcome Center right now. Pretty awesome background. Like I'm actually, hanging out as they're making big decisions here. The fact is they have made a big decision, and that is to approve the $50 billion budget. It's roughly 135 days late. Let's bring in Alex Thill right now. Alex has been covering this from the Republicans' perspective. And you've been listening to what they say about it as well. Let me summarize a little bit of what I heard, and then we'll let you jump in here a little bit as well. So they're happy about this because it doesn't hit the rainy day fund. That was concerning. It's a $50.1 billion budget, which would be roughly a $2.5 to $3 billion increase from last year. They say they're not touching the surplus, of which they have like $7 or $8 billion in surplus. They said it's good for families bringing back money. But what do the Republicans get out of this? Because that is a number that they didn't want to get to, and they've said it for a long time, that there's a structural deficit. They can't get to that number. They wanted it closer to 47, 48, but we're all the way up to 50 billion. So, Alex, when you talk to the Republicans, why did they agree to this after this was the problem for so long and that big number?
Yeah, I mean, Joel, we've been talking about this with them since the beginning about that price tag. And today I asked them, where did that money come from? If this is something that they have said is too high of a number for them to reach. And the response that I got today from the House Minority Leader was the couch cushions of the American government. And they didn't specify on what specific areas those were. So it'll be interesting to learn more about that in the coming days. But one thing that was a big win for them today was the repeal of RGGI, or the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. And so essentially that, and Pennsylvania and 10 other states are currently part of this. It is an initiative in order to help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But today, the Republicans said that was repealed, and they are happy about that because they think that the money that is going to that is better used in other areas of the budget.
Well, yeah. So let's talk about RGGI for a second. It's a cap and trade situation. We're going to explain this more in the newscast, but you have to get to a certain number or stay under it in terms of your greenhouse gas emissions. If you're under it, you can sell your extra space to the other folks that are over it. It's a way to make some money for them. But they have not. It wasn't in place yet because it was being challenged. It was going through the courts. Now it will not be going through the courts anymore. The Democrats won't fight it anymore. It will be gone. The other thing Republicans, I think, said, correct me if I'm wrong, is that because regulations are going to be streamlined, because it's going to be a lot simpler to get businesses to come in here, they've reduced the tax rate for corporations, that it's going to raise a ton more money. And because of that, they think that's going to make up some of the money as well.
Yeah, that is something that they said, and that kind of also brings in the permitting aspect of everything as well when you talk about the economy in that way. They're calling this a pro-growth budget, essentially saying that the final bill proposes critical reforms to that permitting process. So essentially, they will be automatically approving permits after a period of time. And they say that'll essentially make it easier for people to see the status of their permits and will make the state more economically competitive.
Right. So, I mean, if you can decide to be in different states with your big business, with all these jobs, and that's a huge tax base, and it's easier in Pennsylvania, maybe you'll come to Pennsylvania. So they're hoping that's the way. Can that get all the way to $2 billion? I don't know. And from some of my sources, they're saying, this may have really set them up next year to have to dip into the rainy day fund. We will see. We're going to just celebrate 1 year at a time on all this. The other thing the Democrats were saying when I was listening to the governor on this, he said, they both had to give. They worked on this for a while. There was criticism as to how involved he really was. He said he left this up to leadership on both sides to kind of work their way through this. Give me a feel for when you were talking to the Republicans. Was it relief? Was it happiness? Was it, give me the mood when you were in there.
Honestly, it seemed like they were pretty pleased with the way that this budget turned out. I mean, the three main concerns, permitting reform, education reform, and the repeal of the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, were all addressed in the budget, is what they told us today. So, and the Senate President Pro Tem did say that she has criticized Governor Shapiro many times throughout this budget process and the way that he's tackled this. But eventually this was able to get done because all four caucuses and the governor had to sit down and really go through this. So it came down to compromise in that way. And she has said, while she still disagrees with, his process of this, that there is some compromise. She said the governor left her a little sugar sprinkle heart on her desk. And so they've been having some back and forth. So it seems like things are slightly more positive, at least from a Republican perspective.
Okay, I can't let you go without that. What is a sugar sprinkled heart on the desk? What does that even mean?
So the Senate President Pro Tem said that the governor left a sugar sprinkle cookie heart on her desk. And
Oh,
you'll
okay.
see this later tonight at 5 and 6. And she said, you'll hear what she has to say about that. It's some good commentary from her. But so it seems like both Shapiro and the Republicans here have kind of reached a compromise and a
Yeah, it also
friendly
makes you
friendly way of
wonder.
going about this.
It makes you wonder if there was more pressure now that the federal, budget has been solved for now. It's not an official budget yet, but at least they're working again. There's no shutdown. So now the focus kind of came back to Pennsylvania again. You guys are 135 days late. It is the third longest impasse ever. And so, guys, time to get back to work here. So they finally got to that number. It's a big number. It's a record number. And that's the one they're going to sign here. But they said that they did right by families. They did right by schools, added more than $500 million to the schools and the fair funding that they had to do because of the court case there. They're trying to hire 2,000 more police officers. That's a challenge right now. It's a tough job, and a lot of people don't want to do that. They're trying to retain teachers. So these are some of the things that are in there that people can, be looking forward to and seeing what kind of initiatives really stick. Final word from you on this. Give me a question that you really have moving forward. I know you said about those numbers, but anything else about this process you think that we still need to look into?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me that is the one that really sticks. I mean, after speaking with the House Majority Leader many times throughout this process, I've spoken with him on a number of occasions, and he has been very firm that that is a number they are not going to get to,
right
around $50 billion. So, and
okay.
For them to say today it came from the couch cushions of the government without giving any specifics about what that means, I'm really curious to see if they can elaborate on that moving forward.
Well, they're very optimistic in terms of if these initiatives and cutting through this red tape is going to help really bring in that much business. It seems like a long-term thing, not really a short-term thing. All right, Alex, we'll let you go and get back to work. Maxine's in here as well. Maxine, what aspects of this are you interested in today?
So today we talked to different counties here about the impact of all of this. So we know that this has gone on for far too long, and because of that, it's really been a huge detriment to many of the counties here in central Pennsylvania. So, for example, we spoke with Dauphin County, who says it's taken a big hit on the Human Services Department, for example. We spoke with York County, the York County Commissioner there. She explained to us today that 911 centers took a hit, mental health has taken a hit. So, as we know, Joldy, many of us have seen the different departments shut down or have to be shut down in order to essentially save money. So, they talked with us a little bit about kind of the cost of doing
So,
that.
Maxine, the first question that the governor took was, what do you do with these schools, with these counties that
Yeah.
have had to go without for so long? And he says that's our first priority, is getting that money out to them. That doesn't
Yeah.
solve what happened in the meantime and who
No,
went
no.
without, and some of the short-term answers that some of these places had to go through.
Right. I mean, it is essentially a short-term answer, right? In that they are getting the funding back to, let's say, help the employees that have gone for so long without being paid. But it's not going to reimburse the county or any of those employees necessarily for all of that time that was lost. So, again, it picks everything back up. But I want to talk about one thing here, and that it was the method of continuing county services that I found really interesting today. So, for example, for Dauphin County, it meant dipping into their reserves, their savings.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, the county is not earning any interest.
Right.
So that's
Those are
thousands
big
of
numbers.
dollars gone.
Right. Those
Yeah.
are big numbers. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, there was a conversation about maybe applying for a line of credit. And in fact, Joldy, today, Dauphin County tabled that decision to apply for a line of credit after hearing that a budget was, in talks and that it was really progressing today. So that really coming in at the 11th hour, basically.
Yeah.
But, with a line of credit, pulling out a loan, that means that the county would then have to pay interest. So,
Right.
it just was.
Well, I mean, To
really
be fair,
dangerous situation.
they were trying to, the treasurer was trying to offer no interest loans to get through this time period. That didn't really go through, but they were trying to find a workaround there. But either way, some places couldn't wait any longer, so they had to start taking some drastic steps like you talked about. Now that's
Yeah.
over, how fast they get the money out, and you can't make it all back like you said, because interest is interest and you can't go back in time and save money there. All right, looking forward to hearing some more details from you a little bit later on as well. I think the Welcome Center is about to close, so I better close this up as well. We'll see you later on, Maxine.
All right.
Everybody, thanks for watching. This is 21 Next on day 135 of waiting for this. I was here at the Capitol on day 1 when we learned about this budget. Then back here at day 100. Now at 135 or 6, wherever we're at, it's finally over, and I'm being kicked out. So we will wrap it up from here. We'll see your more coverage on the news at 5 and 6 for 21 Next. I'm Joel D. Smith. See you next time.